Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. This mentoring session is a one-on-one session with David, so I'm going to be sending this link over to him shortly so that he can join. I'm not really answering any questions for the public, but you guys are more than welcome to sit in and listen to our session. David will probably have questions that you guys have, so this will help you guys, pretty much just pick up on whatever we're covering during his mentoring session. Just give me a few moments to finish setting this up and then send this link over to him and we'll get started. All right, I think we're good to go. Let me get this link sent over to him real quick. All right, cool. Link's been sent out. Hey, David, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. How's it going?
All right. It's going good, man.
Awesome. Glad to hear.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Definitely. Likewise. All right. So let's see. I don't think you sent any questions, right? So you just have questions lined up.
Yeah, just a few. Well, one, I always trip out because even as I'm looking at your screen, I can never get the trend meter to look like yours.
Oh yeah, I know you mentioned that before. So let's get started with that. So basically, what you will do is I'll just open one chart here. What you need to do is just open up your settings here
Mm-hmm.
and then have it set to chart. So if you have set to chart,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. Once you have that set up, it should give you the trend meter for the specific time frame. So if you're on the 1 minute, it should look like this. If you're on the 10-minute, it'll change. It'll just give you the trend for this specific time frame. Typically, if you're trading on like the higher time frames, you can set it to different settings, but realistically, it's not really necessary if you're looking at different charts anyways, because you'll see how they differ.
All right, cool. That makes sense. I think you said that last time, but there's so much information that that you're going through. It's it's kind of hard to keep up. One of the things that I was curious about is, and I don't know what it's called, but when you're doing high low and it's trending, and you get you have the bias, right? And then when you get a new high low, is that right? And when you go past like the previous break,
Yeah.
do you have to get the momentum, or as long as you have the momentum all lined up, can you still take it?
Oh, gotcha. So you're talking about like the momentum scalp strategy, right? On the 3 time frames?
Well, I mean, I think so. I mean, I know that I always hear, I forget the guy's name, but he's always taking a lot of scalping trades, and I'm always wondering, is that what he's doing? Because
Oh yeah, you're talking about Maddie. So Maddie takes the high low. It's a different strategy. It's a high low quick scalp.
so what is the high low quick scalp?
Yeah, sure. So let me show you real quick. That strategy is a little more risky, so I don't typically like to take it. I will take it if like we have a very strong trend. So say for example, the 10 minutes very bullish, the 5 minutes very bullish, and the 1 minute is also bullish. That's in a situation where I would possibly take it because odds of price going in that direction are very likely. But if you're taking when the market's a bit choppy, like today, I think him and Natasha were taking those trades.
Yeah.
It's a bit risky because there's no real direction, right? Price can go either way.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned, you were trying to figure out if there's like a specific way to apply it. There's no specific way like to apply it one way, but for me, I like to have as many confluences as possible. But let me show you how that strategy works. Let me just put the requirements up here. I know we haven't created a video on it yet because it's a more risky strategy. So I don't really plan on making a video on it. It's just one that I'll teach to people if they ask about it, but it's not going to be one that I necessarily plan on focusing on. Okay. So these are the requirements for the strategy. I guess we can go over here because this would be easier for us to use. And I'll just take everything off the chart so that, or I'll take some of the things off the chart so it'll clean it up a bit. So basically for this strategy right here, if you're looking for buys, you just want to make sure that you have a bullish momentum. So for example, here we have a bullish momentum. We're only going to look for buys. If we have a sell momentum, then we're only going to look for sells. One requirement that's not placed here, which should be placed here, is to confirm the overall direction so that you're actually trading with some sort of bias and you're not just taking every single high-low quick scalp because these come up so often. So for this example right here, we're looking for a buy because we have a bullish momentum. So I'll just push it forward a little bit. The next thing that you're looking for, so the first step is identify the bullish momentum, right? So we have that already. For the second step, you want to identify the low. So right here, we don't have a low yet. I'll just push it forward a little bit to see if we can actually find one. Okay, so I think we have one right here. So right here, we have a low. Basically, once you have that, you have requirement 1, where you identify a bullish momentum. 2, you identify a low, which is right here. And then for the third step, this one, basically, whenever you identify a wick on the next candle, so right here you have a low on the next candle. As soon as you see a wick, any type of wick, whether how big or small, you're going to enter a very quick buy position. You're just going to get in and out of it very quickly. You can see how the range is here, right here, it moves very quickly. So as soon as you see a wick, so for example, right here, if you saw the wick right there, this is where you'd make the entry.
Okay.
Like you have to be very quick. Like you have to just watch the candle. And then as soon as you see a wick, you enter right away. And then from there, that's where you would take your entry. And you can see how it goes straight to prop target, right?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that it was actually when you were forming a new high, like you were breaking the previous high, and then you would put a buy after that candle.
Gotcha. Yes. So that would be another strategy. That's actually the high-low, the normal high-low strategy. So you're on something there. We have a lot of strategies, and that's why I'm trying to focus on just a few strategies so that there's a main focus. But there is a lot of strategies that I created because there's so many different patterns that you can see, and you can use them all to your advantage. It depends on like how many can you remember, right, or apply properly. So for this one, it's a quick scalp. You're literally in this trade for like maybe a few seconds, if not a minute or two. But this one basically would have hit right away. These are the ones that Maddie takes. He really likes this strategy, and he makes pretty good profit off it, but I find it to be very risky. The reason why a lot of people like it is because the stop loss is a lot tighter. So you'll literally know if you win within, a couple seconds or so.
So are you still doing the 1 to 3 here? Or
for this one, it's a 1 to 2. So you're saving a little more because since the move is so fast, if it ever goes against you, you're going to lose that trade. Like you're probably going to lose that trade. So that's why you want to just cut it as quick as possible, because you're kind of taking a speculative move here. A lot of the trades that are good are when they're based off the momentum because you have an actual catalyst, right? Telling you that price is going to go up. When you're basing it off the lows here, these lows are so subjective and they repaint. So for example, if we have a low here, the next candle, if it goes lower, it'll give you a new low. So you can't really test this properly unless you're doing it real time. Like you're staring at the chart every second. And then as soon as you see a wick, you're just, buy, sell, buy, sell.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good strategy, but it's very risky. So I don't really recommend it as much.
Okay. And the same apply. So what I was alluding to earlier with the new break and high, is that's basically kind of the same thing once it breaks.
Yeah, so it's a little similar. Let me see if I can find it over here. That would be the high-low. You can see I have like so many strategies here. I don't even look at them as much. I just know these by heart because I've created all the strategies, so I know them. If I see the pattern on the chart, I can pick at it very quickly. So here's an example of this strategy, the one you just referred to. You confirm overall bias. We'll just assume that it's bullish here because we can't look back in time and see how everything was. But we'll confirm that. We'll just assume that it's bullish. you want to confirm the previous high low. So as you mentioned, you identify structure as a high low right here. So this is going to be the previous high right here. And technically, when you're looking for this entry, you're just looking at the previous one over here. So you're not really looking yet, but when a candle does break past it and actually close like this one here, this is where it sets up for the entry. So first requirement, confirm that the overall bias is bullish. We'll just assume it's bullish. Second requirement, confirm the previous high low. So since you have a buy signal here, you're going to look for highs because you just want momentum to break past the previous high. For the third requirement, you want to confirm a price breaking close past the previous high low. So this high low right here has been broken and closed. The difference between what you mentioned was, just break in structure. For me personally, I like to see a close because you'll actually know that it's confirmed that price is actually going to possibly continue past it.
Okay.
Yeah, for this right here, confirm the break and close, confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum. You can either have a momentum signal here. If you don't have a momentum signal on the specific entry, it can happen anytime before it. So like say, for example, right here, there's another entry where we had a buy signal, but it is breaking and closing on this one right here, right? So same situation. But yeah, once you have that set up right there, you can take this now for a buy position. This will be for the 1 to 3. And once you have that set up, you take the trade and then it goes straight to profit target there. So you can see how these strategies kind of align. They're based off a lot of same catalysts, but you're just looking for different things in the market. So for one, you're looking for a low to be established and you're looking for correction. For this one, you're basically continuing the direction. So you already know price is going up and you're just going to ride that wave, higher and higher as price continues to push up.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually 2 entries right here. So there's one right there, and then there's another one that was right here. And there's actually another strategy that we use for this where we identify liquidity. So I'm not sure if you got to that strategy.
I think so.
Yeah, so the way that I've identified another strategy is, so basically, this is how we would identify this. So you can see here that price is bullish, right? Because the trend meter is green. You see price is above the pivots and price looks like, if it's going to correct back up, it's going to push through here, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I created this strategy is my logic was that I'm identifying where people are placing their stop losses. So basically, whenever people enter sells here, I have an idea where people place their stop loss because they typically place them at the same place. They place them at the swing highs. So what I'm identifying here is this is maybe one level of stop losses sitting, and this is another level of stop losses sitting. So, typically when price reaches this point, these stop losses get triggered. And I'm sure you've heard of the term before, like stop loss hunts, where price will go up, trigger stop loss, and then it'll blast right through, right? So what I'm doing is I'm reverse engineering everyone's trade. If everyone's looking for a sell here, I'm looking to do the opposite. So I'm looking for their stop losses to get triggered. And when price does reach this point, which is what we consider liquidity, where all these pending orders are sitting, right there, you can see it gets triggered and then it blasts right through it. So when price does reach a point like this, we actually enter the trade. This is more closer to what you were referring to earlier, where you don't wait for the actual close. If price touches this point, you can just enter right away because you're catching that momentum swing to the upside. And just pretty much just ride it up with it. That strategy would be we called it liquidity push. I didn't really teach that one very much because I saw a lot of people just get greedy. What they would do is they wouldn't really analyze the trade, and whenever they see a bunch of like high lows there, they would just enter without even like looking at it. So for this here, it makes sense because we have the trend here, and we know price is going to go up, so we have a bias. Yeah, I don't think I have the requirements for that specifically. We called that it's a speculative move, and we just call it liquidity push basically. But I don't have a specific strategy for that. It was just a confluence for other entries that we would take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Another one that I saw today was and for whatever reason, I guess I'm kind of historically like a trend trader. Like even on this, you can kind of see like when it's above like your pivots, right? Like that's where it seems like it's more profitable. But today I got a signal below the pivots as it was coming up and it was green, green, and then green, and I got in and I got in. Is that still, as long as you're green all the way or red all the way across, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if you're above or below the pivots?
Yeah, not necessarily. So for the momentum strategy that you're referring to,
Yeah, the momentum. Yes,
yeah.
correct. Momentum.
So for that one specifically, you can take those types of trades, but from my testing, for me, I'm a very risk averse person. So I want to be like very high probable with all my entries. So generally, yeah, that's how that strategy was originally came up with. It was applied without the trend. So, if you're not looking for the trend at all and you're just going based off momentum directly, that's actually how the strategy is supposed to be applied. But what I did was I added the trend with the pivots and with the trend meter to increase the probability of the trade.
Okay. Yeah, but the trend meter will likely not be aligned if it's below, or in my case, it would have probably been red if it was below the pivots, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it depends on what time frame you're on, because if you're looking on the 1 minute, it'll typically it won't be aligned with it. But if you're on something like the 10 minute, you'll see that sometimes price is above the pivots, but it's still red
Yeah.
because it's on a higher time frame. So you're
Oh,
expecting it
right.
to come back down.
Yeah, I
So
got you. Yeah, because it's basically trending back down and potentially would bounce off something. Okay,
exactly, yeah, it's just correcting back to where it's supposed to be, basically.
cool. What else? So one thing that I noticed, two instances where you were on where you're having I guess the YM feed.
Mhm.
I got a signal. I got a momentum signal when you didn't, or you got one when I didn't, and vice versa. So I don't know if that's something new to watch out
Yeah,
for.
yeah. So that's an issue with like the broker data, because each broker is different, right? Some people have more accurate data while others don't. For my testing, I did all my testing with currency.com, and they've been the most accurate in my opinion from like all my testing, because that's the main one I've used for like maybe 3 to 5 years now. That's the
Mhm.
only data I've used. The reason, and now I've changed to YM, which is the actual future, due to the fact that the data was just not accurate. I mean, it was accurate, but it was very laggy, and sometimes it would freeze up. Like we'd sometimes have like 10 minutes with no candles, and it just would just be frozen.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
in order to improve that, that's why I started using YM. I've only been using YM for this week. Actually, this is the first week I've been using YM, so I can't really say which one is more accurate. I think YM would be more accurate, but I can't say for sure because I haven't really used it enough to confirm whether it's better or worse.
right. Well, I bought it, so I have to change all my alerts. To that. But I thought it was really interesting. But again, nice enough. Like the reverse, the one that I'm referring to, where it was the bye, but it was actually off some support wick, and then I got it, but you didn't get it, which I thought was really interesting. And I took it, and of course I profited on it, but
Nice.
I thought that was really odd. But
Yeah. So, some of the people, majority of the people in the group are still using it. I think one of the girls, Rashida, she mentioned earlier today that there was an entry, but I didn't see it on mine. She saw it on currency.com, and then she took the trade and made profit on it. So I think both are still fine. I think YM is going to be a lot more accurate and more real time. But I think currency.com, even though it's delayed, the signals are still very accurate because I've done all my testing on that broker data in the past.
cool, awesome. What else is there? Oh, so what? I mean, I think I put this question to the group, and I
Mhm.
was trying to figure out my way. And it's been a long time since I've been a Telegram guy.
Mhm.
But what broker are you using? Because I can't trade US 30 on Owanda, or what's the other one, or Forex.com. Is there something is there a certain way to do it? So that's why I'm using Henkel Trade and Hugo's way, and I
Yeah.
can trade the US 30 there, but I can't trade it on those other ones. Which one are
Yeah.
you using?
Yeah, so unfortunately, indices are not technically allowed in the US. So like US brokers don't allow them. So US 30 isn't available on any regulated broker because it's not allowed in the US. It's just due to leverage issues. They don't want people like blowing their account, overnight, like how you could basically do with like a Hanko or a Hugo's way,
All
because
right,
they
yeah,
don't care.
yeah,
They'll let you blow your account.
yeah.
Uh, Due to the regulations here in the US, you have to trade the actual future. So if you wanted to trade the future, on a regulated account, you'd have to use a future broker. It's the same thing. YM is the actual future. So you're basically, when you're trading US 30, you're just trading a broker copy of YM. Like all those brokers they mirror YM, but YM is the actual asset that you're trading. So if you want to trade it on a regulated broker, the one broker that I can recommend would be TradeStation. The broker that a lot of other people in the group use is AMP. There's a couple here. So if you go to the trading panel, so yeah, TradeStation is the number one featured one here. I know Alexander in the group, he uses Tradeovate. So I know this one works for futures. These are both future brokers. So this is meant for futures. This is meant for futures. One of the guys in the group, CT, who's been in the group for a while, he uses AMP. The only problem with these is that they charge a lot of fees. So you would have to pay for, like, you know how you paid for the data for YM, they charge another fee on top of that. Plus they require like a bigger deposit. So, I mean, depending if like you really want to trade on TradingView, which would be ideal, right? Because you can just trade directly on the platform. Then I would probably, I think TradeStation is probably the cheapest one. Tradeovate's probably, or these both are fine. I know AMP is a little more expensive. This is meant for like more professional traders. And they have like more options, but it's not stuff that you really need, because a lot of our strategies here, you can use, you know, the same tools on TradingView. You don't need like a crazy tape reader or something. So if you want to trade on here, you could try out TradeStation and Tradeovate. I think Alexander said it's like a $500 deposit that's required for Tradeovate, and you can just open an account, play around with it. But if you're trading with, so for me, the reason why I'm mainly on MT4 still is because I use FTMO. That's like my main platform. Well, not really platform, but broker, I guess. And for my copier, I can only have MT4 accounts. So I have my main account, which is FTMO. I have a second FTMO, which copies all my trades. And then I also have two different funding companies that I use as well, which is MFF and TFF. Basically the same concept. It's just one's more reliable than the other. FTMO has been around for, I think, it's been the longest standing funding company, and I've been using them for, I think, 2 years now. And they've been on time with payouts and everything. So that's the main one I use. The other ones are just copy accounts. So like my trades will copy whatever the main account's doing.
Okay. So so you're using MT4 to do that. Is it a tool for the copying part? Is it an MT tool that you add, or is that part of like FTMO, like you can actually do it and link your accounts? How does that work?
Yeah, so I use this company called Social Trader Tools. It's like a VPN.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I see
that too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at it. I was like, oh, I can't wait. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that's what you're using, because I'm ready to jump in that space. So
yeah, there's a lot of different copier companies, and I was worried at first because, you know, I was worried to give my account information out and stuff like that. But I've been using Social Trader Tools for same time as I've been using FTMO, so about 2 years now, and they've been pretty solid. I mean, there's going to be some times where your executions won't, you know, set off. Most of the time, it's not the platform; it's like the broker. Like one of the companies I don't like, but I still use, is MFF. They're okay, you know, they're like maybe second in line of like funding companies, but their execution times are sometimes off. Like I'll have profit on my FTMO, but then I'll have negative like on my MFF because their execution times are so much slower.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. You had posted.
Yeah, it was weird. I had like 1,000 profit on FTMO, but then negative 1,000 on MFF, which was like, didn't really make sense to me because it wasn't even a fast trade. It just, execution times just didn't line up.
Yeah. I was going to, one of the questions I was gonna just get more information on FTMO, like what happens. I guess there's a challenge, and they just put you like on a demo account and for a certain period, and you just trade.
Yeah, exactly. So let me see if I can pull it up over here real quick. So FTMO. Yeah, so when you first sign up, you'll sign up for a challenge account. So basically what you're doing is you're putting down a deposit. So you can basically prove that you can trade, right? So you have different options here. a 10,000 account, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. You'll put down that deposit. So for me, I have two of these 200,000 accounts. You put a deposit of like $1,000, I believe. Yeah, it's 1,000 euros here. That's about 1,200 in US dollars. So for the first step, you'll have 30 days to reach 10%. You have to reach a 10% profit goal. With each scalp that we take, we make about 1% or so. So you really just need about like 10 to 15 scalps to make that goal. Once you pass this goal here, you'll move on to the verification, because they want to make sure that you didn't just get lucky, right? Because anyone can get lucky trading. You can take like 1 or 2 trades, hit your TP, and you go on to the next month and you lose all your trades. So they want to make sure that you're not going to go and blow their accounts once you get funded. So once you pass your challenge, you'll go to your verification stage. You get double the time and you need half the profit. So you actually have like, the weird thing is that this is so much easier, but this is where people lose almost every time, because it's like a mindset thing. They think they want to pass so quickly that they don't use the full days. They give double time and less profit. But once you do pass that, then you'll go and get your funded account. So yes, technically you're trading a demo account. Well, I mean, you are trading a demo account because you're not trading their actual account. What they do is they use a copier. So you know how I use a copier for mine? So the account that you're trading is the main account. They're copying what the main account's doing. So I'm basically doing what they're doing, but with my own accounts.
Got you. Okay.
So once you get funded, then they'll refund you your deposit fee. So once you get that, you get funded on your first payout, they'll give you the money back that you've paid for the challenge. And then they'll also give you your first payout. So at that point, you're basically trading risk-free. There's like no risk, because if you lose the account, you don't owe anything, you just lose the account. But if you keep winning, then you keep getting a payout every single month or every single half month, depending on like what you choose.
Yeah. Well, so, and what's the payout?
The payout is 80-20, I believe. And if you're consistent, they do 90-10. So, and then they'll scale your account if you're consistent with them for, I think, 6 months.
Okay. And what do they start you out with when you're actually approved? Is it 10,000? Is that what that says, or no?
With you can sign up for whichever account you want. So if you want to start with a $10,000 account, you can see that the challenge fee is a lot less.
Oh, I see. Got you. Okay, so it's you're on the 200K tier. So okay, and you said you max out. There's what, 5, 6? You just do it again, or what?
Yeah. So they have like the highest account is 200,000. The max allocation is 400,000. So you can do 2 of them, or you can do like 10,000 accounts, if you want 10 accounts. But realistically, if you're going to be trading, on one main account, you can either merge them into one big 400K account, or you can just have 2 separate. I like 2 separate because in case I make a mistake on the first one, I can just cut off the copier and then I'll just let this account burn, right? We'll let the other ones live.
Oh, okay, I see. And the copier that you're using on the on the social
trader tools,
manages these accounts, right?
Exactly. So you have like one brain account, like you have one nucleus, and then all of the other ones just mirror exactly what you do. So if you enter a trade, the other one will enter a trade. If you exit a trade, the other ones will exit a trade as well.
Well, and it lets you set up all your take profit and stop loss in the trade are you actually entering it on MT4 and the copier does the work?
Exactly. So I'm just entering on MT4. So I don't set a TP stop loss. Well, I mean, I do when I enter the trade because it automatically sets it for myself. But the whatever the first account does, the other ones will just mirror it. So open here, close here, but there's no specific number. So there's not like, okay, when this price reaches, close all the accounts. It's basically, you can set it to that. But for me personally, since we're day trading and scalping, I want to know exactly when it closes. I don't want to have different prices because each broker is a little different, right? Like FTMO will have this price, MFF will have this price, and you don't want to get caught up where these close and then this one doesn't close.
Okay, cool. Man, this is good stuff. All these little pieces it's hard to send you a message on all these little pieces. No, this is fantastic. Maddie and some of the other, Natasha, I think, it seems like they're always doing really well. And I'm wondering, are some of them trading even because I've noticed I've gotten up early a couple of times, and so I'm on Central, right? So my early is not like your early, right?
Like an hour ahead, I believe, right?
And like so like 2 hours before open, like there seems a lot of opportunities in that time. Are
Yeah.
they trading outside of your your time that you're saying, the 8:30 to 10:30 or whatever it is?
Yeah, they are. I think Natasha's on East Coast time, so she's up like 3 hours before me. So
Mhm.
she's just trading like, I mean, everyone's trading kind of at their own pace and their own time. For me personally, I've kind of found like my routine and my schedule. So like I do notice that trades come up an hour or 2 hours before the live session, which is basically your time, I guess, because you're 2 hours ahead, I believe,
Yeah.
or an hour. So yeah, I do see. So we start the live session at 6:30. I do see entries come up between 5 and 6:30. So an hour and a half before, I do see some solid entries. The only thing that you want to be careful for is that there's typically news around that time. So what happened was like I tried to trade, well, I was trading like that for a while and I was doing good. And then one day I didn't realize there was news and actually like lost the trade and I didn't realize why I lost it. Later on, I noticed that it was a huge news event. Typically the pre-market news will come up around like 5 o'clock, 5:30. So it's going to fall within that time period. You want to be careful not to be like in a trade during that time. So
Okay.
for the most part, I do see entries though, and I'm sure you've seen them. You know, you get up in the morning and you see a couple trades
Yeah,
come up.
I've been demo trading and I see them. And I mean, I usually have a morning routine. I haven't fully committed to getting up super early, but yeah, I mean, I just been testing it just because I want to get used to like real. So, I'm up, in the London session early. I'll wake up or I'll stay up really late and just test it just to get used to like looking at the charts. Because it's so because when it's happening in the New York session, that's the one thing that's I have to get used to. It's so fast
Mhm.
in New York. It moves so fast. It just takes me a while to kind of adjust, and I'm just really listening to you, and I'm kind of like looking at myself, just getting ready to like put an order in. So where the
Yeah.
other ones move a little bit slower, I feel like I have more time to kind of analyze something, look at support and resistance, look at the K2 stuff that you're doing right on my charts and stuff. So that's been helping me a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't really sure if other people were trading outside the normal time that we're live trading. So
Yeah, if you want to trade like at night, I'd recommend doing it on demo first. Typically, I'll see a lot of volatility between um, um, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. my time. That's usually where like if I was taking nighttime trades, that's where the volatility is kind of higher on my end, Pacific time. So I don't know. I think you're an hour ahead for Central.
2 hours, but I think well, maybe. Well, I'm central, so maybe it's an hour. But
Yeah,
okay,
where were you located? I can check on the time zone
I'm in
converter.
Tulsa. I'm in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never, man, I've been trading for a while poorly, but I've never gotten used to all the GTM, the GMT, the green, whatever, and all.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know why it doesn't trigger in my brain, but um, yeah.
Yeah. I believe you're 2 hours ahead. So basically,
Okay.
uh, so sorry, I'm
Yeah, it's
looking bad at
like
that.
10 to 12, right? My time.
Yeah, basically, yeah, 10 to 12 your time. So it might be a little too late for you to be up at that time trading. But if you are, that's usually where I see the volatility be a bit better for nighttime. And
Yeah.
then for obviously for London session, it'll be midnight up until market open for us. So
Yeah.
basically, um,
Yeah, I'm usually up. I'm a night owl, and I'm usually up around that time. And I have been kind of looking in around 11 my time.
mhm.
Again, 11, and I might be an hour or two at looking at the charts, but
Yeah.
it has been helpful because I mean, like I said, especially like I'm trying to trade real money during your session, and so there's still a little bit of like anxiousness.
Oh
Whereas
yeah, of
I'm
course.
just demoing at in these other hours, so I'm more casual. Like, oh, I just put that trade in, right? And so I'm kind of getting used to that. But
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's all gonna be repetition, right? Because like we're focused on like only a few strategies now. So the more and more you apply them and the more and more you win, the more confident you'll be with just taking the trade. That's why usually on the live session, I don't even think about it. If I see the candle close, I just hit buy. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose.
Yeah.
Most of the time we don't lose, thankfully, but I just trust the move usually.
That's interesting that you say that. I have finally kind of, I've been doing that a lot more. And it is true. Like I have not understood. And so I've taken trades that were, didn't do all the requirements. And so I know why I lost them. But now that I'm like, like I can easily like say like, these are all the requirements. I've done that and I've like completely forgot about it. And then, like I go back and look, I'm like, oh, it's closed. And then I look and like, oh, it was profit, so
Yeah.
I am really digging that part of it, which I've never really been like that. I've never scalped. So it's a really new experience for me. So I'm really enjoying all the stuff that you're teaching us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like scalping is a type of strategy that a lot of people aren't good at. So like once you find someone that actually is good at it and you actually do it, it's actually pretty fun. Like when you trust the position and you know it's going to hit, not where you're thinking about it and second guessing it every time it moves.
Yeah. Well, I am amazed because like I said, I'm in the tech space and been for 30 years and design tech, strategy. And I've been fascinated with trying to build indicators or hiring people to build indicators. And I've never really found one that was like legit, as accurate as this. So I really appreciate all the time that you've done. And I'm probably like most people. I've paid for hundreds of things and I've taken hundreds of classes and whatnot. And this is, again, just kudos to you and your system. And it's been really eye-opening that it works. So anyways.
Definitely, yeah. And I'm glad that when you showed me your profits, I was like, you're like actually getting it, because a lot of people will join and not actually put in the work and practice, and you're actually like picking it up right away, which is great.
Yeah, well, I felt enough, honestly. And that's probably the hardest part. I've told my wife and many others that, you get the traders that know too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's always something that's happening in your psyche that says that talks you out of a trade or closing it early. But again, what's really cool about this is that you almost don't have time unless it goes in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
You almost don't have time to rethink it. Like you do it and then literally in less than a minute, like it's going to hit your TP. So anyways, it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's all intuition. Like once you have a feel for it, you get in the mood. It's kind of like when you gamble. Like if you're gambling at a casino and you're on a hot streak, you just make your moves and you don't really think, you just do it. And everything hits for some reason.
Yeah, no. Awesome. It's probably the bulk of my questions. Let's see, I had some screenshots, but now I know. Yeah, I had some screenshots where I was going to ask you, but we talked about those earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I will say, if all goes well, I am transitioning out of my full-time job and doing this full-time. I'm going to give it my best shot for December. So putting it all out there. That's how much I need this. That's how much I believe in your system. And I've been in the tech space for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in December. And I will say, if all goes well, I probably have a lot of extra time. Aside from this, I know that I think I heard an earlier video of like you trying to figure out what you want to do with, your business and whatever. Like I said, I've built websites, I've done digital strategy, I've done design, been doing that for 30 years, and my name is out there. So if you want to talk shop or, looking to maybe ping some ideas around like how you want to market and change your business, let me know, because that's my space. So I've been doing that for a long time. So
yeah, no, definitely. That'd be great. I'll help you help me. We'll both find something out of this.
yeah, I'm gonna need something. If this works, I'm gonna need something to like, for all the extra time that I'm gonna have. So
yeah. Yeah. No, if you decide to do it, if you want to do this full time, I would recommend to just stick to the morning sessions, because that's how I kind of learned about it too. Like what would happen with me and a lot of people is I used to actually trade all morning. So I trade for like pre-market, like 5:30 up until noon. So we'd be on the live session for like, 6, 8 hours a day.
Mhm.
And what I started to notice is that there's times where you shouldn't trade. Like, the sweet spot is going to be 6:30 to 8. I
Yeah,
noticed that after 8, typically the market ranges. So if you trade during that time, you're probably going to lose a couple of trades. You're going to give away a lot of profit that you made. So if you do want to do it full time, I think just stick to the early morning sessions. Just take proper, risk per trade so that you can make enough profits and make it worth your time.
okay.
Um, and I think after that, like, just rinse and repeat every day, same process.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like, again, the strategy, like you said, they're all similar and they're starting to get sticky in my brain just watching you. And so, yeah, the hardest part is discipline. So, everyone wants to go and try to make more money. So I'm trying to learn that. So
Yeah,
you're,
exactly. Be
you're right.
satisfied with your goal, right? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
you're right. You're
yeah,
right. Yeah.
for me, it's like 1 or 2 trades a day. If I have that, then it's great because I'm trading on my FTMO account and I have these copiers, so it
Mhm.
adds up. And if I take a loss, that'll add up too. So I'd rather just have a couple wins here and there, and then just
Mhm.
keep stacking up the wins throughout the week.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, man, this has been super helpful. Super
Yeah,
helpful.
definitely. Yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or set up another session. I typically don't do these sessions, but I think this is helping me a lot too because I'm having to force myself to go over the strategies, and it just helps me, make adjustments if necessary. But yeah, I'm here to help. If you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, if you want to meet up with Maddie too, because I know you like trading, or you said like pre-market. Maddie,
Yeah.
he's been trading pre-market. So if you want to set up a session with him,
Oh,
he can
that'd be awesome.
a rundown on that as well because he trades like London session, so it might line up with what
Oh
you.
no, that would be amazing. How do I hit him up?
Yeah, just message him. He's I think, let me see if I can find his. Yeah, Maddie. Let me see if I can find his username here. Maddie Blends, I believe. Or you'll just find him in the group. Like if you look in the group, just search under
Is it
the group
is it
members.
MA? Let me see.
Yeah, just type at and then type in Maddie, and then it should come up. Yeah, it's like Maddie Blends with like 3 S's. You can just message him directly, and he'll I know he's setting up mentoring sessions as well. He's basically my prodigy, so it's crazy. He actually reached out to me last year, like
Mhm.
randomly, and then he was just, he knew nothing about trading and he wanted to learn, and he really put in the work. So now he's now mentoring the same strategies that I taught him. So he's
That's awesome.
basically, yeah, he had no information of trading and now he's just passing on the knowledge.
Maddie Blends,
Blends,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that'd be him.
cool. All right. I'll hit him up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yep, sounds good. I appreciate it, Sean.
Okay. All right, David.